Is the Reading housing market cooling off or quietly holding strong? Well, the May numbers for Shasta County are in, and they are telling an interesting story. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rooted in Reading. I'm Faith Barrett, your local guide to everything here in Reading. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment below your thoughts as we share weekly updates about Reading and the housing market as a whole. Last month, we broke down the April numbers, and I mentioned that I was really curious to see how things would play out in May, especially with everything we're hearing and experiencing around affordability in today's market. And just a friendly reminder, the data we're reviewing today includes Shasta County and parts of Tehama County as a whole. So in May, we had 224 homes sold compared to 217 in May of last year. So it was a small bump of about 3.2% in sales. However, when we look at the year-to-date numbers, we're still down about 8.1%. So far in 2025, 864 homes have sold compared to 940 homes by this time last year. So we definitely have felt a slowdown earlier this year with uncertainty around, the presidential changes, consistently high interest rates, and then the announcement of new tariffs. With everything that's gone on this year, it has definitely sparked a lot of wait and see conversations, with many people deciding to hold off and reevaluate, especially over the next 90 days since the tariffs were announced back in April. Now let's take a look at inventory and where things currently stand. In May, we had 404 new listings hit the market compared to 365 new listings in May of last year. Now that's a 10.7% increase in new inventory. When we look at active listings, meaning homes that are just for sale, not just newly listed, we have 911 active homes in May of 2025 compared to 723 in May of 2024. That's a significant 26% increase year over year, and year to date total inventory is up about 10% compared to this time last year. So before we digest all of this and break down what it really means, let's look at a few more key data points, that being median sales price, absorption rate, and days on market. Now, the absorption rate tells us how long the current inventory would last if no new homes were added to the market and sales continued at its current pace. So in other words, it shows how quickly the market is absorbing homes. As I've shared before, 0 to 3 months is typically indicating a seller's market, 3 to 6 months is considered a neutral market, and 6+ months shifts us into a buyer's market territory. For May, our absorption rate was 4.86, up from 3.63 last year. So we're still sitting in a neutral territory, but you can clearly see that number is rising thanks to more inventory and especially slower sales as we head into the summer months. Now let's talk about prices. Despite the inventory jump and an odd, unpredictable economy, prices have actually held steady. The median sales price in May was $375,000, which was unchanged from last May. And year to date, the median sales price has bumped up about 3%. So that's actually a great sign. It means that even in a slower market with more homes for sale, home values are actually holding their ground. Now, as you might expect, with the absorption rate climbing and inventory increasing, we're naturally seeing days on market go up as well. The average days on market from listing to closing is currently sitting at 93 days compared to 67 days last May. That's about an increase of 38%. As for interest rates, they're still hovering in the high 6% range, and to help offset that, we're seeing more permanent buy-down options offered by sellers or lenders to bring that rate down, as well as a 2-1 temporary buy-down, which can provide short-term relief and make monthly payments more manageable throughout the years. So what does this mean if you're watching this as a potential buyer or seller? Well, the market is shifting, but it's definitely not crashing. Inventory is rising, homes are taking longer to sell, and buyers are definitely more cautious. But despite all of that, prices are holding steady and good homes are still getting strong attention. So if you are a buyer, this market gives you space to breathe. There's more options, maybe a little bit less pressure, and more negotiating power than we've seen in a long time. But I will say, when a home is priced right, shows well, and is in a desirable area, it still moves quickly. And I'm seeing firsthand that those homes are getting the most showings, and in some cases are still receiving multiple offers. So being ready, pre-approved, clear on your criteria, and working with an agent who knows the market is key. Now, on the flip side, if you're a seller and you're watching this, this is not the time to test the market or overprice your home. Today's buyers are selective and are informed, but they will move when the right home shows up. So if your home is prepped well, priced strategically, and professionally marketed, it can still sell quickly and for a strong price. Now, what is funny is we always do these recaps and then people go, okay, but what's next? What is the market going to do till the end of the year? Are rates going to come down? Like, what's your prediction? Well, while no one can predict the future perfectly, I have been digging into what the top housing economists are forecasting. That includes Fannie Mae, Zillow, the National Association of Realtors, and more. So here's what you need to know heading into the second half of the year. Home prices. We're likely to see slower price growth, but not a drop-off. Some experts like Cotality and Fannie Mae predict around 4% appreciation for the year, while others like Zillow expect prices to decline slightly by about 1.4%. But here's the key. The sharp corrections are most likely going to be happening in the overheated markets like Florida and DC. And in fact, affordable regions like ours tend to stay more stable, which is consistent with what we're seeing locally. Steady home values despite higher inventory and longer days on market. Now, what about sales activity? Most experts are expecting a slow recovery in existing home sales, ranging from about 1% to 6% growth in 2025. That lines up with what we are seeing locally too, which is a hesitant buyer pool that's still moving when the right opportunity shows up. But if you're a buyer, be ready, because the second half of the year might bring more opportunities. But like we said earlier, homes that are priced well and show beautifully, well, they're still getting multiple offers and a lot of attention. And the topic that most people want to know is interest rates. Rates will likely stay the mid to the high sixes throughout the rest of 2025. No one's expecting a big drop anytime soon, but there is hope for a slow, steady easing. However, Fannie Mae is forecasting around 6.1% by the year end, and the Mortgage Bank Association is right there too. I personally think we're going to stay around the mid to the high 6% range till the end of the year, and we won't really see a turn into the low 6% until next year. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're thinking about buying or selling, always remember the local market often tells a different story than the national headlines. We've been serving the Redding area for over 8 years, and we would love to be the experts in your corner as you decide your next steps here. Feel free to reach out using the contact info below, or you can even schedule a call through our Calendly link so we can help you navigate the process with confidence. As always, thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of Rooted in Redding. If you found this helpful and you want to stay up to date on what's really happening here in the Redding market, as well as the housing market as a whole, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. We post new videos every week, and we'll catch you on the next one.